to add the balloon now to the basket that we just made. I'm going to use the 16mm bead. As I mentioned before, it is a little different shape from the one that's in this piece, so I may have to add another one of these 15-0 beads. We're using 15-0 to come down along here and for the rope. I'm going to use, and up the top, and I'm going to use 8 zeros for this component here and the very top up here. Now, as I mentioned, you may have to adjust this. We'll be using 21 beads initially for this. The other bead that I had used, the other 16mm, was actually a little larger, and it needed another bead or two, but we'll see how the 21 looks. If you're using a 20mm bead, you're going to want to use 27 of these 15-0 beads. And if you're using a 10mm bead, you're going to need 14. So the number of the beads that you need along here will change. These beads, we're going to use 12, so these beads will remain the same. And then this little bottom piece is also going to remain the same, as will the top. So let's get started. The first thing I want to do is I want to pick up 4 of my 8-0 beads, and I'm using an 8-pound Fireline again with a number 12 beading needle, and I have 48 inches. Want to make sure we have enough because we need to get down to the rope, use the rope to attach the basket as well. So we pick up the 4 and we go around, and we're going to make a circle, which is actually more like a square. So we have our 4, and I'm just going to make a knot. So I'm going to wrap this around twice, make a little surgeon's knot here, and pull that tight. There. And I'm just going to cut this off at this point. I won't cut it too close to the knot, because we're going to be doing enough with this that you won't see that going forward. All right, so now I want to come through, and I'll turn this the other way because I want to go up. So I want to come through, and I'll go up one more bead. So I'm sitting like this. Now I'm going to pick up my 16mm, and I'll take this through. Now some of the holes are kind of big. The 8-0 shouldn't slip through, but once you've got 4 of them, if you have 1 of them, it might slip. So you're going to hold the beads, put your thumb on the beads, and we're going to pick up 4 more of these 8-0 beads, and we'll bring them all the way down. And we want to go in, we're going to make another circle again. So we're going to go into the bottom bead, like this. I'm going to stick my thumb on this now, the bottom one, to try and get it pushed up. And I want to pull this all the way down as far as I can. This group of 4 we've made again. Bring it down with my thumb. We'll be able to tighten this once again because there's a point we're going to go through this bead one more time, so we'll be able to tighten it a little bit. Now I'm going to start putting on my balloon rope. So I need to count out, we said 21. The thread wants to come out on the left-hand side, so I flip that over. And when we put the beads on, we go through one of the beads in the bottom. Doesn't matter which one. We're going to go through, and we're going to go through from the left to right. So I'll just pick that one, and we're going to go in this direction. Now we're going to pick up another 21 beads. We're going to come back up through the same bead we had just come from up top. Go through that one. And then we're going to go through all of these 21 here to get back down to the bottom. So carefully go through so you don't miss any and have any thread showing. And we go through all of these beads until we get to the bottom. And you want to pull that tight. You want to make that snug. And you want to go through the large bead that is between these two rows. And then through the next one. And we're going to make loops going around. So the next thing we do is pick up another 21 beads. And we're going to go through the next bead right here. Doesn't have anything going through it yet. And come down. And now we'll turn around and we're going to have to go down these beads, these 21 beads starting at the top. Now, if you do manage to miss one and you pull the thread tight, you're going to see it because it's going to stick out. It's not going to be stay in line. So we're going to go through the bottom bead again. And now we go over to the next one. And we're going to pick up our fourth string. And now we go through the bead, next bead that doesn't have any beads in it up top. We're going, making that loop around. And now we're going to go back down through the other side. Now we go through the bottom bead again. Now we've got 4 sides on, so we don't want to add any more beads, but we have to connect them so that they connect with this bead that doesn't have anything coming out of it. So in order to do that, we're going to have to go through this bead, and we're going to go through these we'll go through this bead. So that connects the bead in the center here. And now we're going to go back down on this side to connect these two. And we still need to connect this one down at the bottom. So we're going to go down here, and that will connect that bead. And I like, just to make sure they're nice and snug and connected, I'm going to go back up this side one more time. I'm going to put the top on. Now, first thing I want to do is I'm coming out of these beads, so I'm going to go through this large 8-0. So I'm going to show you how to put a top on that's like this that you can use for a necklace. But if I were going to do this with earrings, I think I would do something a little bit smaller so you didn't have as large a space here for earrings. But we're going to do the necklace part so that you can put the chain through it. So we've come through the 8-0 and we need to pick up 13 of our 15 0 beads. So count 13. And we want to go into the back of this 8-0 bead that we came out of. Now we need to work our way over to the other side. And we want to pick up 6 beads. And we want to find the center bead here, the 7th one. So let's see, we have 2, 4, 6. It looks like the center bead is probably going to be this one right here. And we want to enter in the same direction our thread, the same side our thread is coming out of the other bead. So we're going to go through here and we're going to pull this, and we've formed one of our peaks, and we want to add 6 more beads. And we're going to go in through, so we've come up this side, and we're going to go in through the other side of where we had come out of, like we did on the other when we first started. So that will give you the 2 little peaks. And I like to reinforce this. So the way we're going to reinforce this is I'm going to go up this side, and I'm not going to follow the same thread path that we did the last time. I'm going to come up this side, and I have to make sure that I get to the 7th center bead, which would be right here. I can see it. And now I want to cross over. So I came up this side, and I want to cross over to this side. I'm going to go through this large bead, the 8-0. I'm going to repeat this. So I'm going to go up on this side. I'm going to go through the center bead. And then I'm going to come back down the opposite side. And I want to go back through this number 8 bead. There. So that reinforces my beads, gets them to stand up in a little pyramid shape. Now, what I'd like to do at this point is go down, and we'll start putting the bottom piece on and the basket. So we're coming out of an 8-0 bead. So we're going to go through the center of the bead and come out down here, out the other side. Now this is the point at which you can pull down a little bit and tighten these 2 sides together if you need to. We need to go through one of these 8-0 beads. And we're going to do one, if you're familiar with a right angle, we're going to do one right angle stitch. So we're going to pick up 3 of the 8-0 beads. I'm going to go through the bead we just came out of. We're going to go through the next one. We're going to pick up 2 of the 8/0, and we're going to go through the last bead in that set of 3 and the one we're coming out of, and we're going to go through the next one, and then we're going to pick up 2 more, and we're going to go through the last one we put on and the one we came out of. Now I do something a little different here because I don't want to have a lot of thread going around in here. So I'm going to actually go up. You can go up on the side to add this last bead. You don't have to go down and around again. So instead of having to go around the base twice, I'm going to go up, then I'm going to add my bead and come down. Then I'm going to go through the bottom bead. And the whole reason I'm doing this is because you only go through the bottom bead once. I'm going to come back up here. Now I do want to make these nice and tight, so I'm going to go around all 4 of these floor beads. And I need to go through one more to catch all of them together. So I've put them all together. And now I have to position myself so that I'm going down on one of these side beads, which means I have to go up and across and back down. Now I'm positioned to start attaching my basket, because we're going to attach the basket to these beads on the side. So we pick up 12 of these little 15-0 beads. And we're going to bring these down. Now I'm going to take my basket, and I want to connect these beads right at the corner. So if I tip this upside down and we look at it, you'll see that there's a corner bead right here. You can find it by going from the center and then moving outward this way. And then when you see the corner bead, which is right here, this goes up. Remember, we made 5. So this goes up 5 beads. So we want to attach right here to this corner bead, right there. And we're going to go in on the left side and come out on the right. I'm going to pull this. And when we do this, you'll see these beads sometimes want to settle underneath this top here, this bead next to it. So you've got to pull this thread in to make sure that it tightens right on this one bead, right on this corner bead. And we're going to turn around and go back up these 12 beads. So we're going to go back up the 12 beads, and then we're going to go up the side. I'm going to pull this tight. We're going to make sure that this is only looped around this one little corner bead here. And then we're going to go around again, and we're going to get the other side. And we're going to go down. Now, you want to lay this down and look at it and make sure that when we attach this bead, that you're attaching it to this side, and that you've got your beads that you're going to have to attach both in the same direction. You don't want to attach it this way because you'll run out of, it'll get twisted. You'll run out of beads. So let's pick up 12 more. Let me just double check. You want to make sure you have them evenly, because this will show up if you don't have 12 on each one, it's not going to sit right. All right, so we're going to come down here. Remember I said we have to take a look and we have to figure out what side we're going to. So we're going to this one, and we're going to pick up, and we're going to look at the corner bead. We're going to look for the corner, which is right here. And we want, it's going to be a lower bead, so we want to attach to the corner. And we're going to bring this through and make sure that that thread goes right to that corner bead. Okay, so we attach, and went through here and made sure the thread went right to the corner bead. And then we're going to come back up. And you want to make sure that your loop is only going over this one bead. You don't want it looping over the one on either side. And we go through again. And we're going to go down. We're going to pick up 12 more. And we are going to look for our corner. So come across here. Here's our corner. And our corner is going to be right here. Now that one wants to go under, so you're going to get that thread, manipulate that thread so it's only coming up. It's going through the between these two, not underneath the one next to it. And then we're coming up all 12 and the large bead. We're pulling it tight. Go around. This is our last rope. All right, now our last corner, so we pick up another 12. And we look for the corner, and we go up to the 5, and we find the bead we have to go into, which is right there. And this is going underneath the one next to it, so we want to free that. Make sure that you're not going underneath or around. And we're going to go back up the 12. Now, before we finish this off, I want to take a good look. So if we've done this correctly, and we do our little basket, then we should have each one of these coming down to a corner. So this one comes down to a corner. This one comes down to a corner. This one comes down to a corner. And this one comes down to a corner. I've actually done this when I've shifted and I've been one off. So that's why I want to check before we finish the balloon. Okay, so these are all finished. And I'm just going to, at this point, run these beads. Now, you can finish this any way you want. I'm going to actually, if you want to bring it down and finish it in the basket, I'm going to just run this back up. And I'm just going to go up a couple of beads here. I'm going to do a loop. Just make sure the loop goes in the right spot. That's where the thread's coming out. Right there. And I'm just going to pull that tight. And I'll go up to the top. You want to pull that tight, the knot goes inside so you don't really see it. And I'm going to go up to the top of the balloon. And I'll do the same thing again. And just do that loop. Make sure it comes down right where it came out. And we'll go up a couple more. Go up to the end. There we go. And then I'm just going to cut the thread. I'll pull it tight. And now I'm going to cut the thread. And there is your hot air balloon. So as you can see, you can use different kinds of beads for the top. And you'll get different looks depending upon the shape of the bead and the size. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you.